What's up guys, Ronnie here and welcome! And today we're gonna update our tier list for Season S1 in Etheria Restart. The way we're gonna do this is we are taking our previous tier list that we made a video for at the beginning of the season, and we adjust within that tier list the different units that need to be bumped up or bumped down in that tier list, and also the new units such as Raymery, of course, are gonna be included in this as well. Now, as for my credentials, this is the RTA tier list, by the way. Last tier list I had some questions. As for credentials, I've been a top player last season and also this season, like pretty much all season long within the top 10. So you can take what I say here for granted. And then also, the most important question I know that everyone is asking is, what the heck happened with your hair, Ronnie? Where did your beautiful hair go? I know, guys, I know. It sounds counterintuitive to have short hair during winter, but I feel like it's better for me. I don't know, because when I my hair, when I use the hair dryer on my hair gets bad, you know? And then I usually leave it a little bit wet and then I get sick from it. So we just cut it all off, so we don't have to dry our hair. So we're rocking this for now. I know, it's a rough one, it's okay. Hey, we're here for the tier list, right? Not for the hair. Come on now. So, starting off with the previous list is gonna be... it's gonna be looking like this. And as you can see, we will need to do some adjustments. And we're gonna start off with the Apex meta, and also, let's get this out of the way, the new unit. To no one's surprise, this unit is an abomination. It's not okay, this unit. Raymery is not okay. Whoever playtested this is a criminal. Enough said. Then, let's keep it on Apex. Then go S, A, B, C, etc. And adjust all the different units that need to be adjusted, because there are quite a few adjustments that I would like to get out here. Quick interruption, guys. Did you know most of you guys are not subscribed? Now, not only is this an abomination, but the bigger part is, did you know that word in the streets is Ronnie Plays subscribers on average get more red speed pieces than anyone else? So what are you waiting for? It's only profits from here on out. Make sure to like and subscribe. First up is gonna be the Tiamat. I think the Tiamat is gonna fall down to S tier, and so is gonna be the Holden, because now this unit is just a better bruiser than these two, in my opinion, which places her just right on top, because the meta defying units, these are the priority, right? These are the big priority units, whereas the Tiamat and the Rahu, they're still top notch, but one tier below the Raymery. You can't have them on the same level as the Raymery. Then the Lily is also actually falling from the top. She's gonna be falling into S tier, because quite frankly, in turn 1 matches, you would prefer to have openers such as Mio. And in turn 2 matches, the Lily is more of a later pick. You prioritize bruises like these in your drafts, or you prioritize some of the good other support units before you go into the Lily. So the Lily is falling down as well, but there are some additions to the Apex tier. First up, Plume and Messiah are gonna stay. Messiah is still the best cleave unit. He's still super oppressive, super hard to deal with if you don't just speed contest. And speed contesting isn't really a solution, in my opinion. It's something that not everyone can do, and it just gatekeeps you on playing against a certain playstyle just by speed, right? Also, let me actually put me to the side here, so you see everything. So yeah, Messiah is still an absolute terror, the best cleave unit. This is why he's also Apex tier. Then Plume, we're gonna keep in Apex tier. Why? Because she's super good for cleave, super good against cleave, super good for control, super good, not too shabby against control. And in turn 2 she's good, she's good in turn 1, she does it all. She does it all, she's super strong. Overall, an insanely oppressive unit. But we have some units that are good into her that are also gonna be up there just like her. So first up we have Fusho. Now Fusho is not really a turn 1 unit, neither does she set up for as much as Plume. But Fusho is usually in a turn 2 match just super oppressive. She's super strong. She's the best sustain unit in the game by far. She makes her team almost immortal basically. There's not many units that can kill the Fusho. There's some ways you can kill her. But overall she is just a powerhouse. Absolute powerhouse. And then there's another... This is how strong Plume is. And I feel like Plume is getting underrated nowadays. There's another answer to Plume, and simply for being an answer to Plume, right? Simply for being an answer to Plume is this unit in Apex tier. I was considering it, like I wanted to do this tier list a week ago. I was considering to put Aya in S tier, but I reconsidered her in Apex tier because sure, in a normal standard match, bruiser match, I think she's not Apex. She doesn't compare with these other units in a bruiser match, like these three. But the Aya is just super good also against control to a certain degree. Of course, there's ways to counter her that I've also showcased in stream, link in the bio. But she's super good. She can do a lot of work. She can heal. She can push. Her resets on kills is very impressive. She helps you against turn 1 a lot. That's the main reason why she's in Apex tier here. And she prevents the Plume team to cleave you. Because there is pretty much a bruiser team can cleave someone when they're diff broken with the Plume. So the Aya helps with that a lot to stop that from happening. Just overall a very solid unit. And also the thing is you can also use her as the cleaver. You can use her as the control player as well. So she doesn't just work for the turn 2. She can also work for the turn 1. You can also put her on the codex. You kill someone, she pushes up 80%. She pushes the team again 40%. You get the gist. She's just super good. Shout out to Shotty for being the first one to notice how good she is. He was on that Aya hype train from the get-go. But yeah. Then next up, like I said, I think Tiamat and Holton, I think are still super strong. Super strong. 2 of the best bruisers, but Raymarie is just better. Raymarie is just better. She's better in turn 1. You could use her in turn 1. You could use her in turn 2. You could use her anywhere. She's just dumb. Tiamat loses to the Raymarie. Holton loses to the Raymarie. But the Holton, he has so much utility. He can control teams. He can help with the control. He can stop your enemies from controlling to a certain degree. And then the Tiamat, one of the most oppressive, overwhelming DPS in the game in terms of the raw damage output. If you don't have someone like a Fusho, it's going to be rough trying to survive against the Tiamat onslaught. So these two still super oppressive. Then we have the Selins. Now the Selins, I have built her up at the beginning of the season. And I haven't played her, but I played against her. I was like, damn, Selin's annoying. But ever since I built her up, I haven't played her that much. I barely even pick her. The thing is, if your opponent... And the main reason is because ever since then, since the last tier list, right, the Aya spiked in popularity. And the Aya spiking in popularity lowers the Selin's value. Because sure, Selin's can control the Aya potentially and render her useless, but it's a 50-50, right? And you don't want to gamble a game on a 50-50 on hitting the forgetfulness onto the Aya or not hitting it, right? You don't want to gamble that. You want to have like a 70-30, 80-20% chance to win a game, to consistently climb. So she's a later pick. She's very good in the right spot. She's not by any means weak. Like the A tier, by the way, we're adjusting the tiers a bit. We're going to do half of these units in the A tier are going to be gone and going to be put into B tier. And the A tier is still going to be super good. So, but she is more of a later pick and not so much of a lock pick, not so much of a early pick as she used to be, simply because Aya just came in swinging mostly. Then we have the Lilith, and the Lilith is gonna stay here. Lilith is gonna stay here in S tier, even with the Aya, because the Lilith can win into Aya. Lilith is just super obnoxious. She's one of the most disgusting units in the game. She can solo win you a game, she can get these resets, she can just full control your opponent. There's not much they can do, and she's super tanky. You can use her against turn 1 as well, as she's HP scaling and doesn't suffer that much from someone like a Messiah as some other units. But yeah, Lilith, insanely good. Insanely good. I think everyone, me included, like all of the top 10 players, most of them, they're just Lilith merchants. They're just Lilith merchants. That's just how it is. That's this unit is not okay. This unit is not okay, let me tell you that much. But there's more than just her as a disgusting CC unit. Then we have the Mio. Mio in turn 1 is super oppressive. In turn 2, Lilith is usually better than the Mio because of the damage. But in turn 1, she works into the Aya. She works as an opener. She works with the freezes. She works with the anti-heal against the Amber to counter the Amber. The freeze counter the Reaper, right? She brings so much to the can I say it? So much to the table. It's insane. And another unit that is insanely busted is gonna be the Nahor. You saw me already drafting the Nahor against the top players at 111 skill ups. Now he's 114. I've got enough to skill him up further. But honestly, for now, until end of season, I will have to see how things go and how the new units look like. I'm holding it. I'm holding Magnetisis because he works. Even with the low investment, he's so oppressive. He basically has a guaranteed freeze, therefore cooks the Aya. He's super good into the Aya. He's super good. You can use him in turn 2, but it's a fake turn 2 actually. I pivot into a control cleave usually when I pick it, right? But as a Bloodbath player myself, you know, you can just use him and go turn 1 with him basically. And he's just super oppressive, especially into the Aya. He can do a lot of work. His freeze basically guaranteed. The defense break, the rest down, just as another debuff that potentially would need to be cleansed. He's super good into the Reaper steps. Absolute menace of a unit. Like anyone, yeah, he's just a must build. For every turn 1 player, he's a must build. Might even, should I put him here? Because he's just that good for turn 1. I think turn 1 is a mix of multiple of these S tier units that are super good, right? That's the thing. So I'm gonna put him in S tier. Next up, we have the Veronica. She stays here. Veronica has established herself as an absolute force to be reckoned with. She's, together with the Fusho, one of the best sustain units. Her sustain, her damage, her buff steal, just super oppressive. You can use her on Halloween, you can use her on Bloodbath, you can use her on Time Weave. There's so many things you can do. She's just insane. She's absolutely insane of a unit. So yeah, Veronica, a monster, let me tell you that much. Then we have the Rahu. The Rahu, one of these top tier bruises as well, the Holy Trinity, right? These 3 are the Holy Trinity. I do not value him as much as the others. He has some counters. My Rahu, maybe it is because my Rahu is not built that well in terms of the shell. Maybe that's the case. But Rahu is still very strong. He's also one of these units that can actually kill the Fusho. That's the big thing. Because he's single target, he doesn't push the enemy. So he is actually a decent answer into the Fusho, but usually you're still gonna end up banning her. Unless the enemy has a force ban on last pick. But Rahu is one of these units that can deal with the Fusho, simply because of the defense break, and the defense break usually sticks because the Fusho doesn't cleanse and she doesn't take a turn. And with that defense break and the follow-up attacks from the Rahu, the Fusho is going to have a harder time to sustain, and he can potentially take her out. So he's also definitely very, very strong. Then we have the Linglo. Linglo, where do I put her? I put her, she's only turn 2. So we go into the Heinrich. Heinrich, super strong in turn 1, and also very good in turn 2. More and more people started to build him now as well. Especially as an answer into Veronica, he can help as well, because Veronica is just that good. And then Heinrich comes in and says, right? And then he has so many debuffs that overwhelm the enemy cleansers to get rid of them. He's just a staple. He's just a staple pick. And now we get to the Lily. Overall, very good to gigacycle a DPS, to overpower your opponent with a certain DPS and just go bam, 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 you know. Insane in that note. Now, then we have the Yelly. Then we have the Yelly. I think the Yelly is the last one we haven't talked about. And the Yelly, unfortunately, is going to go down into A tier. I think the Yelly is not S tier viable. She's A tier. She's okay. She does quite well with CC cleave. But in my opinion, the reason why she does well with CC cleave and is quite simple. It's because these units carry. These units carry the CC cleave. You can put literally any random DPS into the CC cleave, in my opinion, and it works. Because they're just stunned, they're death broken, and into a D-break you can just dish out insane amounts of damage. And with multiple turns before the enemy goes, you're chilling. And if the enemy goes, well. So yeah, same with the Lilium. I know a lot of players like the Lilium, they like the Lilium Cleave and so forth. But I think the Lilium Cleave, just like the Lilium CC Cleave, is being carried by the supports. I think she's getting carried by Nehor, by Mio, by Plume, Heinrich, over more than by herself, and Beontin, etc., more than by herself. She's good. She can also use it with the Pure Cleave, but I think with the Pure Cleave you just go Messiah, and then with CC Cleave you can go the Lilium. But yeah, in my opinion, it's just these CC units carry the Cleave there. I think these CC units are just the carry, and you can put in basically anyone. Now you can put her maybe higher because of the anti-CC abilities, but really, realistically, she's bad into Lilith most of the times. She's bad into turn 1 most of the times as well, because yeah, she's just not that good against turn 1, as she usually dies. Even against the full control team, she usually dies before she takes the turn, because of all the Jekyll guard procs and D-break make her quite squishy. Then we have, next up, quite a few adjustments. So we're gonna have the Doki Doki, with CC being that strong at the moment, the Doki Doki is gonna be staying in A tier. While she's not that crazy in terms of sustain and stuff, she can give you a lot of tempo in certain drafts to help you survive, to overwhelm your opponent, mainly for an aggro draft as well, and as an anchor to not get controlled. She can help out in that way. But outside of that, in a neutral mirror, she's not that strong, as after the first few turns, she's out of juice. She's just out of juice, and she's a sitting duck for quite some time. But usually you don't run her on Bloodbath nowadays, you run her full speed with Strive. The Bok build, basically, he's been kind of the guy who made it popular and really shown how well that can actually work with the Doki. And yeah, she's just good. She's just good, especially, like I said, with so many strong CC units. Having her helps a lot. Then the Mia is another one of these units that helps with the CC, with the cooldown reduction. You also don't run her on Bloodbath, you run her on Time Weave, as her passive gives you reduced damage taken. Or if you're a cleaver, you run her full speed. You can also run her in turn 1 games as an opener and stripper on Ban Protect. You can, yeah, the cooldown reduction for her team helps a lot to get your CC ults back up and just control your opponent. Very annoying to deal with. Watchum, for example, likes to play that with the Lilith together. Super oppressive, not gonna lie. I think you still ban her, usually against Watchum, because he knows very well how to draft her, and I don't have her, so I don't have much experience drafting her myself and finding answers into her. So I think the Mia is a very good, very underrated unit nowadays, but very strong. Next up we have the Kokardi. Kokardi is gonna stay here. He's good. He's not as good as the other bruisers, but he's good as a late pick. If your opponent doesn't have a Raymarie and Tiamat, you'll be able to put in a lot of work with the Kokardi. That said, of course, more of a later pick, and really needs T-breaks. He really needs T-breaks to actually deal damage. Then we have the Tsukiyomi, one of the premier cleave openers, easy A tier here. Don't think she's as good as the CC units. I think the cleave units are mainly carried by Messiah, where the CC units, CC cleave is mainly carried by the CCs. But she's one of these top tier openers. She just pushes a lot. She gives cooldown reduction, speed, attack buff. She does it all. You could make an argument for her to be A tier, but I'll leave these S tier. But I'll leave these openers here in A tier, as you're gonna be able to see most of these units here. They're gonna fall down in the tiers, and then you're gonna see this is not too bad actually for placements for these turn 1 units here. Then next up we have Born. Born is also gonna stay here. The buffs helped him a lot in terms of the damage output. And the release of Kokardi increased the Born's value as well, as he's quite good into the Kokardi. It's a very good neutral pick. Like, he's a very, very neutral of a pick. Right? He's just tanky, flat damage, does his thing. Not really crazy interactions in terms of counter picks and so forth. But at the same time, his damage output compared to some of these top tier DPS is just not good enough to be on par of these top tier DPS. So you're usually more or less picking him later down the line. Then next up, we have Shada. Shada, Born counterpart, right? These two AoE blue DPS. The problem is the Shada needs to scale up. And on top of that, the synergy from her passive, the 45% damage reduction of her passive and the bloodbath, they don't harmonize very well. And the problem with the Shada on top of that is she doesn't have a dedicated, very good support. And really, she's not as tanky as you might think. That's the main issue, one of the main issues. And her damage is good once it's stacked up, but there's the shell. No one really has there is no perfect shell for her, in my opinion. She doesn't have like that crazy shell that makes her super good, that helps her like some of these other units have, that have some crazy good shells with synergy. She kind of needs a shell that helps her survive the initial damage onslaught, so she can survive the initial damage, stack her passive, and also get some damage, right? You have, for example, you could for example put her on Amber, but then she loses out a lot of damage. You can put her on Gigabyte. You know, the matrixes, the shells, they're kind of iffy, and counterattacks are very oppressive, as she's kind of, you really want to use her ultimate and AoE. She's my favorite unit in the game. She's my wifey, right? She's a baddie, but I don't think she's as good as Born. I think Born is just easier to draft, right? In the right spot, I think Shiara is better than Born, by the way. In the right spot. But Born is just so much easier to draft, and to find that right spot for Shiara is just so hard. And this is what makes Born overall a better unit. It's just more of a neutral pick. Then next up we have Freya. Now Freya, giga underrated. Might even be an S tier unit. Might even be an S tier unit simply because of the turn 1. Turn 1. Bruiser matches, mirror matches with the Freya are just super good to have the Freya. I know that the rank 1, not rank 1, but yeah, the rank 1 cleave player, who's been rank 2 for quite some time now, he really likes that Freya pick, to just make sure he's not gonna get cheesed in from some speed unit. He's not gonna get outsped by his opponent in a turn 1 mirror. She's just very good, very underrated nowadays. She's very simple, very straightforward, but does a lot of work. She does a lot of work in these types of drafts. And You could potentially put her in S tier. Honestly. Same with the Beontin. Beontin's double reset, super oppressive, super strong. Can do a lot of work. We're gonna keep her in A tier for now. She's a core and vital part for Cleave. I don't think Cleave is nearly as strong without her. So yeah, Beontin is super, super oppressive. We might take a look at her later down the line as well once we have the tiers adjusted. Then Hoyen, get down. Loses against Kokardi, she can't activate her passive. Against Raymarie just executes her. Against Heinrich just makes a block buff on her. Against Holton just resets her. You get the gist. Against Messiah just ignores her passive. Right? You get the gist. There's too many ways for the turn 1 player to deal with her, and she's a counter for Cleave, but she doesn't do her job. She sucks. She just sucks. I hate her. She's dumb. Next up, Viper, gonna fall down here into B tier as well. It's a solid pick into Kokardi, but there are not that many attack scaling bruises used. And against CC Cleave, like against Cleave without Messiah, he works, but when the Cleaver doesn't use Messiah, they're using CC, and against the CC, he doesn't do anything either. So Viper, yeah, he's fallen. He's a fallen soldier here. Same can be said for Mizuki. Mizuki is a fake counter into Tiamat. I said it a long time ago already. And yeah, she's just fake. Okay, she's just fake. Sonya, her nerfs butchered her, the changes butchered her. She's also fake. She's a fake unit. She's not real. She was broken last season, but all these changes and the new units on top of these changes lowered her value drastically. Insane fall off. Nymphonial is one of these units that could be better, but problem is units like Veronica exist, units like Heinrich exist against the Nymphonial. And like I said, the best turn 2 units are non-attack scaling units, and the best turn 1 DPS supports are already given out with Beontin, Tsukiyomi, Freya, and so forth. So yeah, she has just a lot of answers. She's good. She can be better than you might think. I think she is better than we all think. But it's not that easy to draft her. Mainly as a late pick, you can use her. I think if you have the Latices, you can make her work as a late pick for sure. Yeah, I think she's better than you might think, but not that crazy. Then we have Kochi, Rare Kochi, actually good cleave unit. Works well with the Lilium, works well with the Messiah, and can also CC the enemy. Pretty solid unit on top of B tier easily. Very solid actually. Then Red Chiaki. We're gonna put her into B tier for now, maybe Z tier. She doesn't have any cleanses. She works only against Cleave, and even against the good Cleaver. There's no guarantee that she's gonna help you survive their initial onslaught, unfortunately. So yeah, not too big on the Red Kochi, to be honest. Same with the Red Rain. They're kind of in the same boat. They're answers into the cleavers, but the cleaver can just pick a Mio, right? The Messiah cleaver can just pick a Mio and say, okay, now you're forced to ban the Mio because you picked the Red Chiaki or Red Kochi. If you don't ban the Mio, they're gonna be CC'd. And then the Beontin gets through, and they're gonna double pump if you're not fast enough. And more or less, if it's a strong cleaver with fast gear, you're not gonna be able to cut. So yeah, bit of a rough one there. Hellkit, who is this guy even? who is Hellkit? What? Then we have Betsby, carried by CC. Yeah, he does a lot of damage, but I don't know. I find it hard to draft him. She's good, actually. I think she's good. Hizuki Mari, she's quite good. I'll put her in here for a CC draft. And also for the attack buff, it's not too bad. Also, you can also put her in some CC cleave and stuff. She's a solid unit. She's definitely a solid unit. Then we have... And then we have the A tier, I think, complete. Now the B tier needs some adjustments as well. First up, Valerian, I haven't picked her once. Kraken, Get Down. Real Mocha, never seen her. Kazuyo, why would you pick Kazuyo when there's Hizuki Mori? She has a pretty much guaranteed CC though, the Kazuyo. But she has a sleep. And then we have, yeah, Pusher, but he's not that fast. Revelation unit, get down, get down, get down. Get down. I think, do we have anyone else who needs to get down here? Right, now we have these in B tier. Now, Obel. Why would you pick Obel if Nehor exists? Why would you pick any of these CC units if Nehor exists and Hizuki Mari exists, right? They're just not as good as Nehor or Hizuki Mari, so they're gonna be down here. And Obel for the strip and CC. Obel's strip is fake. I said it now, I say it again, Obel strip is fake. He has a 1 chance to strip. You much rather use Mia, Heinrich, or Plume for the strip. Way better options. Then the Wisher, Dorothy the Wisher, we're gonna keep in B tier. She's also another unit that can be used for cleave. Now, in terms of that, I think Beyontin, is Beyontin really S tier? Or is she getting carried by the Messiah? I think Beyontin and Freya are on the verge of S tier. But usually I just play a lot more against control cleave. So I know how strong, for example, Nehor and Mio is than the Messiah. Because I'm banned Messiah mostly. Fast Chloros as a anti-cleave unit, he's kind of fake, but most of these units are kind of fake in B tier other than the CC and cleave units here. So like these two and her and he can somewhat work. She can somewhat work as well. So let's do it like that. But yeah, a super fast Chloros can work as an anti cleave unit, and super fast Rin is also pretty stable. So these guys are gonna go up into B tier. Now for the attentive viewers out there, you might have noticed something, and that is there's one unit missing. Right? There's one unit missing. I completely forgot about Sylph. Now me forgetting about that unit already tells you quite a bit on how I feel about that unit. I don't like her. I don't like her, I'll be honest. I think she's kind of fake. Because, quite frankly, against control, she's not a real cleanser. She's not. Because, quite frankly, if you need to look at it, she has a 4-turn cooldown on her cleanse. She doesn't have any self-push. And she has a 3-turn cooldown on the full cleanse. Meaning, she's useless against the top-tier CC units. So if you pick her to try and play against Lilith, well, the Lilith, you're gonna survive the first turn of the Lilith. You're gonna survive the first bombs of Lilith because of her cleanse. You can cleanse them. But the second amount of bombs, by the time the Lilith has her ult up, your ult is not up. And you're gonna get controlled on the second CC rotation. Same about Mio. Mio has less cooldown and usually is faster than the Sylph, plus has a speed buff, plus has his pushback. So the Mio is gonna get her CC out. You're gonna cleanse it with the Sylph. And then the Mio is gonna CC again, and your Sylph is out of juice. Whereas Aya is not out of juice. Doki is not out of juice. Linglo is not out of juice. None of these are out of juice after that. She gives a defense buff. She gives a lot of healing. And she can cleanse against squishy turn 1 cleave somewhat, but even then, her cleanse doesn't matter if your units don't take a turn. For example, if she takes the turn, cleanses your team, 2 debuffs. 2 debuffs usually against full control. Maybe the defense break still sticks. Maybe the freeze still sticks. And if one of these 2 still sticks, the CC player's Lilium is going to one-shot the priority target. Right? So, I'm not too high on that unit. I'll put her here. I'll put her into B tier. I think she's... People were screaming about, oh, another cleanser here and that, but as I already said at the beginning, it doesn't matter if you have 100 cleansers if they're all ass, right? And I'm not too big on the Sylph. I think she's mainly a healer. She's good with the Holden. She's a very good with the Holden. She can work, but she's a niche pick in my opinion more than yeah. I don't pick. I never pick her. I'll be honest. I think I have a 0% win rate. Maybe it's my personal vendetta that I'm putting her that low here. Maybe it's some personal issues I have against her, but I don't like her as a cleanser. I think she's mainly a healer than a cleanser. You should draft her as a healer, as a cleanser, if you want her as a healer. But if you want sustain, you'd rather pick her or her, right? Maybe I'm wrong. So I'm gonna be conservative on this one. She could go into A tier in the future. But for now, I'll have her B tier. That's my ranking for the Sylph. And that already concludes the tier list. I hope this should give you a very good understanding of the current meta, of what your priorities should be in terms of building and also picking in RTA. And make sure, like I said, to subscribe. If you're subscribed right now, you're gonna get a red speed within the next 10 speed checks. That's all I'm saying right now. That's just the word in the streets. That's just not me. Now, but keep in mind, guys, this is just the word in the streets. That's not from my side. That's just what I heard about the subs. Make sure to like and subscribe. I wish you all a blessed day. I'm Ronnie, and I'm out. Peace.